Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to insert for the record a section-by-section analysis of the resolution.
Without objection. So ordered.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the gentlewoman from Rochester, New York. I look forward to our time where we will work together day and night, perhaps, with the committee that she will be the ranking member for and I will be the chairman of. I've told the gentlewoman before today that it will be my hope and her hope that we will not only work for the betterment of the institution, but also the members to ensure that they stand a better chance to make sure that our committee, the Rules Committee, is one that we can both look at each other and know that we have done a job that would be fair and appropriate on behalf of the minority leader, the majority leader, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives and all of our members. The rules package today before us will continue the effort of our Republican majority to make the work of the House as open, transparent, and as streamlined as possible. This work began in the 112th Congress under the leadership of former Chairman David Dreyer. And when a number of important reforms were implemented, David Dreyer made sure that they worked. Today, we will continue the tradition of that transparency initiated by Chairman Dreyer. The nonpartisan Sunlight Foundation recently praised our endeavors in that effort by saying, and I quote, "It is clear that the House has become a more transparent institution over the last 2 years." The accolades of, and that's the end of the quote, the accolades there go to the gentleman from California, David Dreyer. This body is wholeheartedly committed to advancing that reform process, and I am as its new chairman. Our work must begin and must always be directed to accountability, to the people who granted us the privilege of serving in this body. But the imperative for accountability is never higher than when we face tough economic times that each of us bring to the floor because of the demand upon people that we represent. As our national debt skyrockets, the economy limps sluggishly along and unemployment remains predictably high, and the need for fully transparent and accountable processes in this institution to help end that effort of unemployment in this country and to gain more jobs is one of the things which this Rules Committee and the work on the floor should be about. The rules package that we focus on today for the 113th Congress will help us to achieve that goal. It preserves the important reforms that we made in previous Congress while adding a few perfecting amendments and several other ideas. One such amendment in Section 2 will help to streamline and expedite floor voting procedures. It is important to note, however, that these procedures are intended to be used to expedite consideration of questions in the House while ensuring that no member is denied an adequate opportunity to vote. Section 2 also makes several improvements and clarifications in the Congressional Code of Conduct in order to more efficiently hold each member of this body accountable. For example, it expands the current nepotism rule to conform to current law and to add grandchildren to the rule who are not currently covered under House rules or current law. This is a strongly held bipartisan measure that has received praise from a number of transparency groups, including the Sunlight Foundation, as I mentioned at the outset. This rules package also amends the restrictions on the use of private aircraft contained in the Code of Conduct so as to harmonize House and Senate rules. These changes provide more flexibility to members whose district, including rural and remote locations, are not easily reached by car and do not have scheduled air service. They will also facilitate travel during extraordinary circumstances, such as in an emergency or in the aftermath of a natural disaster. At the same time, the revised rules keep in place safeguards to help ensure that such travel is fully consistent with House and ethics guidelines and rules. The new rules will simply ensure that members pay a fair market rate for air travel regardless of the type of aircraft that is used. Together, the amendments and the clarifications to the Code of Conduct contained in this resolution will better ensure that elective representatives, officials, and employees of the House can execute their official duties in an efficient, ethical, and transparent way. Section 3 of the rules package makes a number of separate orders. The most significant among them eliminates provisions contained in the Affordable Care Act that limit the ability of the House to respond to recommendations from the Independent Payment Advisory Board. Now, House Republicans have made it very clear that we oppose Obamacare. We have acted repeatedly to repeal and to replace this controversial law. But regardless of where any member may stand on this issue, the question of preserving the prerogative of the House of Representatives to its work and its will without dispute or controversy must be achieved. Article 1, Section 5 of the Constitution very clearly states that this body has the right and the responsibility to determine the rules of its proceedings. This provision will ensure that as we proceed with the issue of health care reform, the ability of the House to respond to the Independent Payment Advisory Board is not abridged. Sections 3 and 4 go on to make a number of adjustments that enhance our budgetary process, our oversight rules, and to strengthen our ethics procedures. Finally, Section 5 allows the Speaker to recognize members for the reading of the Constitution on any legislative day through January 15, 2013. Every member of this body sworn in today is sworn in to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. It is a very worthwhile endeavor to spend time in the first few days of this new Congress, and perhaps any Congress, to review the inspiring words of our nation's founding document. The rules package that I have just outlined for you will better enable each of us as an institution to perform our constitutional duties and obligations with integrity, transparency, and accountability while streamlining its operations. Presenting this package to the House is my first official act as Chairman of the Rules Committee for the 113th Congress, and I think it exemplifies our commitment to an open, deliberative process that empowers the majority to work its will while preserving the ability of individual members, particularly those in the minority, to present their ideas and engage in meaningful debate. I urge my colleagues to support this rules package, and I reserve my time.
The gentleman reserves his time.